Let's go through and make a list of some of the most frequently encountered substituents that you're going to run into. And these will be things attached to the parent. So I'll be writing the parent, and then we have whatever group attached. And I'm just going to abbreviate the parent as P in these cases. So the first two are ones you should recognize because we've used them already. They're based off of the straight chain alkyl groups. So if you have just a CH3 on the parent, we know that that is called a methyl group. If you have a CH2CH3, that's called an ethyl group. If you have a 3-carbon group, that's a propyl group, and so forth. And remember, I've written these out with the atoms explicitly stated, but they certainly don't have to be. We can use our skeletal structures, so that would be the methyl, there's ethyl, there's propyl. We're also going to commonly run into branched alkyl groups attached to a parent. And there's a few general names that you should know for these. The first is similar to the propyl group in that there's 3 carbons attached to the parent. But instead of being attached at the terminus of the 3-carbon chain, the 3-carbon group's attached in the middle. This group is known as an isopropyl group. The next couple that we're going to look at are butyl groups attached to the parent. And it depends how the 4-carbon butyl group is attached. Here's a case where the butyl group is attached at the 2nd carbon. If it were attached at just the 1st carbon, that would be a simple butyl substituent. This, since it's attached at the 2nd carbon, this is called a sec-butyl substituent. And with this, there is actually a hyphen included here. And then the next one is also a butyl derivative. Where we have 3 carbons attached to a central carbon. And this is called a Tert-Butyl group. Sometimes you'll also see this written with more of an angle to the bonds. It's the same exact thing. It's like that. Those are equivalent. Or sometimes it's just written in more of this cross form. One important thing to take out of this is what letter to use when alphabetizing. And this is something developed by the IUPAC committee, not me. So basically, if it's the isopropyl, you use the I. But if it's these 2 hyphenated groups, like the sec and the tert-butyl, you actually use the B for alphabetizing. One other thing I'll mention here that sometimes throws people off, don't confuse the tert-butyl group with neopentane. So neopentane is this structure, which is a molecule in and of itself. We have 5 carbons in this molecule. For the tert-butyl, this is a 4-carbon group attached to a parent. So that's different than neopentane. All right, the last class of substituents we're going to look at for now are the halides. So if you have on your parent a fluorine, we'll call that a fluoro group. If you have a chlorine attached, that's a chloro. If you have a Br attached, that's a bromo. And if you have an I attached, that's an iodo. And we can use those substituent names just like we do the methyl, ethyl, propyl, and so forth. For alphabetizing, you just use the first letter.